most of us coming out of high school, this meant the end of those early start times in the morning and those heavy workloads that we usually burdened with by our teachers. However, what many young undergrads fail to realize is that those small assignments that they choose to put off day by day eventually pile up in huge sleepless nights of torture. Usually by the next day, they become sleepless and, well, due to only getting several hours of sleep, they become sleepless and less focused in class. And as this trend of sleep deprivation increases, the attention span decreases, and the late night cramming for homework and tests increases even further. In the long run, this increased cycle of sleep deprivation and less amount of focused studying could cause one to fail their class or even worse, fail their semester. Even I want to relax and forget about things such as coursework every now and then, especially on a huge and diverse campus such as Purdue. However, I must remember that I need to rest in order for my mind to be properly prepared for the next day of class and be able to focus and take in everything, such as important notes and facts that may be on the next test, so to say. Along with the new life experience that college holds, work duties and tasks also increase. Sometimes these duties can take a lot of free time if one chooses to use it wisely, and vital periods of sleep if one doesn't use it wisely. Eventually, this cycle of sleep deprivation causes one to become underachiever. First, I'll explain what sleep deprivation is and its physiological effects. According to the National Ag Safety Database, in an online review posted in March 2002 by the staff of NASD, sleep deprivation is a common sleep disorder caused by an extensive lack of sleep and rest. Large amount of worry and stress upon a brain can cause one to rest uneasily and eventually lead to insomnia. Sleep deprivation can also be a gateway to other complex disorders, such as 1, narcolepsy, and 2, sleep apnea. Narcolepsy being when a person is unable to sleep during vital periods, such also another form of insomnia. Sleep apnea is when a person has irregular breathing patterns during their sleep, which could eventually lead to heart attacks and strokes. Chances of developing these disorders from sleep deprivation are quite slim, but the risk is still there. Keeping your body and mind awake for long periods of time is just like torture. For example, right after the war in Afghanistan, when Taliban refugees were captured, they were usually kept up for long periods of time, for weeks as a matter of fact, in order to torture them. It's worse than dehydration and hunger when it's at its extreme importance, because the mind cannot regulate the body's functions once it's out of whack. Effects within the body are consequences such as aching muscles, dizziness, a weakened immune system, and memory lapses, and psychosis, which causes people to go crazy. A reduced growth rate is also, since there's a large amount of stress on the glands. And obesity can also be another cause from sleep deprivation, since you need a lot of sleep to rest and maintain the insulin glands that help you break down sugar in your body. Outside the body, extreme accidents such as car accidents and on-site accidents with heavy machinery, say in an industrial job, are more likely to occur. And these usually are the most extreme cases because these are fake, of course. Sleep deprivation affects millions of Americans annually, mostly in high school and college students, and they experience the most severe cases due to the heavy workload and high pace that college and high school work is. You know some details of what sleep deprivation is. I will explain how it can affect you and your academic performance in school. In an article published in U.S. Today on September 17, 2007, Yahoo wrote that there is a definite correlation between students' sleep times and their GPAs. Sleep deprivation takes a considerable amount of energy and attention away from the body's mind and body. And also, since this attention is taken away from the mind and the body, the academic performance is decreased drastically. All-nighters are usually considered a rite of passage in college, but they do not do anything. They're not effective at all. The late reactions and low attention span cause the student to pay less attention. This is due to the fact that these students are beforehand performing all-nighters to get this last-minute homework assignment or study for this test at the last minute, since they choose to procrastinate. According to another article published in Biotech Business Weekly on April 30, 2007, a staff member wrote that a lack of sleep can cause anxiety and depression. Usually, depression or the early signs of depression show that a teen or young college student has a loss of interest in things that one used to pay close attention to before, and there's usually a low grade drop. Also, the student may show irritability, aggressive behaviors, and just being mean towards others for no reason. A typical teenager needs an average amount of 9 hours of sleep on a daily basis. Unfortunately, statistics show that average teenager in high school and college gets about 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Some try to sleep earlier, but an article in Newsweek published on September 17, 2007 by Epstein states that a teen's biological clock works against them, since it's also hard to fall asleep before 11 o'clock. And also, injuries and hormones play a significant effect to the teen staying up at certain times, like a biorhythmic clock type thing. Sleep deprivation can also have negative effects on the academics, but I will introduce ways on how to avoid this and get proper amounts of the rest needed. An article published in the Scotsman on June 13, 2007, Hardy wrote that regulating weekly schedules and health can help students reach their goal of academic performance. Even though it sounds tacky, having a daily bedtime and regulating when you sleep will help reduce your chances of catching being in sleep deprivation. Complete all your assignments on time, basically, and do what you need to do. If you have a hard test, study for that 2 or 3 days in advance, instead of trying to cram for it in the last hours of the night before the test. Late night television is also the temptation which leads to sleep deprivation and wooziness. To deal with that, usually just record your shows, or if you miss a show, ask a friend to record your show. You may catch it again, you usually do replays. In general, have an overall healthier lifestyle. That will make it easier for you to rest. Of course, limit caffeine intake such as Red Bull, and daily power naps are also a good way to catch up to sleep lost in the night before if you had something extreme to take care of, schoolwork and what have you. In the end, I've described exactly what sleep deprivation is and expects on you and your schoolwork. I hope you all have a clear understanding upon what the sleep disorder is and how it can affect your GPA, and how you can also prevent this. In the future, when you have small assignments or tests to take care of, sacrifice your free time to take care of them as soon as you can instead of putting it off the night before it becomes a sleep-depriving thorn in your side, which leads to a droopy-eyed zombie in the next class.